Okay.
All right. Lee Andre Payne of Cloven Hoof, welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. A pleasure to be here and talking to you, my friend.
Excellent. First of all, congratulations on this exceptional,
Ah,
amazing
thank you.
new album. Um, when did you first start working on those songs?
Oh yeah, so I mean, it's probably sort of a year and a half ago, really. It's having a vocalist like Harry made a big difference because I always kind of write with the singer in mind, I sort of know what the voice is like, so I write the songs, that I know can put them over really well, and because it was the first time of working with Harry, like I had massive expectations anyway because he's a fantastic singer. And but he even surpassed my expectations, like when we record we record the tracks in England, and then we send the tracks over to Greece where Harry's got his studio.
Mhm.
And then we're waiting for him to send like the tracks back, the vocal wave files, like for us to listen to. And it was amazing because every time he sent one back, it was really exciting because he surpassed my expectations. I was really looking forward to hearing the next one, and that the album kind of began really with it's kind of weird. I had this weird dream. I, don't- I you know like for there was one track on there called Sabbath Stones, and I used to have a girlfriend, and she lived in a place called St. Cullen, which is in Cornwall, which is at the bottom, and it's kind of famous for sort of myths and legends and stuff. And I had this dream of working on this sort of these songs in this sort of haunted house kind of thing, really in Cornwall, and it made me think back to a track which I've had. Even it could have been on the first Cloven Hoof album, and it was kind of like the outlines for the Sabbath Stones kind of song, and it's sort of lying around all this time, and I've never really sort of nailed it with a sort of storyline or the lyrics. But when I was thinking about this, I had this kind of weird dream, and I heard the track, the music for this song in my dream. So it got me sort of must have got my imagination kind of working overtime. But I remember this girlfriend who lived in St. Column, and she showed me this. The local kind of church. She went, you like all these myths and legends. He said, well, St. Column's got a good one. The local church. There used to be these standing stones
Mhm.
in the church grounds, and there was a legend attached to it, and it was like there was supposed to be like these girls who were sort of dancing on the Sabbath day, and you're not allowed to sort of dance or anything. And the legend is they got turned to stone. So there's this story attached to these stones. And when the local vicar sort of heard the kind of legend, he had the stones removed and sort of taken out of consecrated ground, like. And I went, that's a really good kind of concept. But if I hadn't had that dream, I wouldn't have sort of gone back to that kind of storyline.
Mhm.
So that there you go. It's got the music and the sort of and the lyrics. It went perfectly. So the track was kind of resurrected, and to think it could have been on the first album, but I didn't have that storyline like at the time. So once we had Sabbath Stones sort of down, and I kind of sort of played it. The guys, they loved the song and everything, and it kind of sort of set the mood then for it. It's like, and I thought this kind of storyline attached to it. Yeah, I got that as well.
That's actually one of my favorite tracks. Yeah,
It's
one of
not.
my favorite tracks. And now that you explain what it's about, musically, it kind of hits me with that big kind of a rainbow purple feel.
Oh my goodness. You're going to get an exclusive right now, uh, because our next album was going to be. We sort of started working on the next sort of album, and we sort of went, yeah, but it's too it's a step too far away from Heathen Cross because we really loved Heathen Cross. And there was a lot of people going like, as you say, it's captured that sort of, it's got that Deep Purple kind of vibe, or sort of all Sabbath, like with Dio, really.
Mhm.
And it's got that sort of darkness. And so what we decided with the new album, which I'm working on right now, it's even more like that, like the sort of magic of like what Deep Purple and like Uriah Heep had there with a like there's a darkness but a kind of magic to the music, and it's kind of missing today. So what we decided to do is half the thing with Heathen Cross was to capture that sort of that old sort of old school, sort of magical kind of sound. Well, we've gone one step further. So the new album is, it's just sort of, it's going to be a link between sort of Heathen Cross and something else, which I did as well. But the new album's going to be even more so like that. It's got a kind of a sort of a Deep Purple and Uriah Heep kind of sort of darkness to it, and it's just doesn't sound anything like our like the stuff today. It's an absolute sort of homage back to the albums that I used to love. So Heathen Cross was it was great because we wanted to do it proper old school. We wanted no studio trickery or Pro Tools. Everybody's using this. We wanted to go back to capture the live energy of a band in the studio, actually play it like the old days, and to inject that sort of live energy, like that all the albums I used to love, like it's a proper band playing all at the same time. So we've done this again, but we've sort of added a so even more sort of Deep Purple and sort of Uriah Heep kind of darkness to it.
Right.
So I think you're in for a treat the next one. Like we sort of done most of the album now. There's only two tracks left for the sort of backing tracks.
Mhm.
And I think it's sort of like it's sort of Heathen Cross, but I think it's going to be even better, and I was really pleased the way Heathen Cross turned out because it kind of everything we set out to do, Heathen Cross kind of delivered. Really, it's got that old school
Mhm.
vibe. It's very sort of uncluttered and it's very powerful, and it's a real live sort of band playing live, like in the studio, to capture that energy and stuff. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it, because I'm really proud of Heathen Cross.
Now, you are credited as a sole writer for all the music and the lyrics on Heathen Cross. Um, what are your working habits like when it comes to writing?
Yeah, basically, it's like you see, I always write in the same way, and it's kind of different from sort of most bands. And really, they sort of riff based, and they write sort of riffs, and the riffs are kind of like strung together, and the vocalists kind of sing something over the top. But I sort of do it the way sort of the old sort of classical composers did it in a way, because I first of all get a sort of a hook line like the melody for the chorus, but I make the music fit the melody.
Mhm.
So it's just not a collection of riffs thrown together. It's got a storyline to it, and I make the music fit the storyline.
Mhm.
So it just feels more sort of logical to do that, like because that way, you're telling a story with music and the way the sort of the old composers used to do that.
Mhm.
So and a lot of the prog bands used to do it that way as well. So sometimes like with the first album, I think why the first album was so good and sort of it was a bit innovative really, because there's tracks like Gates of Gehenna and Return of the Passover, and they were like a collection of musical movements that told a story. They were in parts. It wasn't just this typical verse, sort of verse, chorus, or bridge or whatever it is. It was just pieces of music that kind of fitted together. So I guess that's what gave us our identity, because under the hood, we're it's got that sort of prog metal kind of feel, because we've got that sort of epic kind of storyline. But the difference was we're aggressive. We're aggressive heavy metal band, and for a aggressive heavy metal band to kind of do that, like it's kind of different because we it's kind of what the prog metal would do really. So I think that's what made us kind of different. And that's kind of grown into power metal, I guess. That's why people think we were kind of amongst the sort of pioneers for power metal, because that's what power metal is now. But there wasn't any such thing when we started.
That makes sense. Now, being the single writer, how do you go about presenting your vision to the rest of the band?
Oh yeah. Well, what I normally do. So I start off with the melody, get the melody line, and then like, it kind of the title and everything. It kind of suggests what the song should be about. Then I write down everything I can to do with about that subject matter. It doesn't have to rhyme or anything. So I'll just get like just ideas that sort of fit around the title. And then like and so once you got the melody line right away, it kind of the next kind of progressions, like for the verses, seem to flow easy from that. He just wants to go into a certain key or a different a certain sort of rhythm, and then I'll put that together, and I sort of just get the kind of the chords behind it then, and it's kind of build from there really. It's like building together with a jigsaw, and then like your sort of mid late sections, you've probably got some cool riffs lying around. We think, oh, this will be good, to solo on and stuff. So you kind of build it up that way. So I do that. So that I'd sort of demo it up. I play all the guitars, all the bass, sing, play dreadful drums, because I'm the world's worst drummer, it's got to be said. And some, if it fits in the click track, they're lucky, So then I sort of take it to the studio, and then I get it kind of mapped out, usually with Chris Dando, because I've worked with Chris Dando for, oh my goodness, it must be about 13 years now, like, and sit there in the studio, and then we kind of map it out, and then I do a good demo. And then I give it all the guys, and they go and learn it, and then we go down the rehearsal room, and we kind of play it through, a few times till we feel comfortable, and so the song can feel lived in, and that's when the guitarists can excel really, and then they can sort of they treat their solos as like like a mini song, the way it's kind of structured and built up, and then when we feel happy enough, then we just we book the time and then lay it down for real. So for instance, like I've just like done I took the terrible demos into the studio, and now I've got the good mapped out demos, which I'm now going to play everything again. And so once that's in place, then we give it the drummer, and then the drummer's going to go in March. He's got all that time to learn it. He's going to put it down in March. In May, all the bass gets done, and I put a dummy guitar on there as well, like just as a guide. And then the guys will sort of the end of May, the guitars will get put down, and Harry records the vocals in June, kind of thing. So the album will be finished like in June, and then it will be sent to Austria for the wonderful Patrick Engel to sort of produce and sort of master and stuff. So hopefully it should be out sort of November-ish, sometime next year. So hopefully, but it's sounding fantastic. I'm really pleased with it at the moment.
I'm still not bored of the current album, so let's talk about that one. So how did Harry Tyrant Conklin enter the picture as the vocalist for this record?
Yeah, it's a good story. I think some of these things are kind of written in the stars. It's like it was. We had a fantastic singer on the last sort of well, the 3 albums before Heathen Cross, a singer called George Cole from America, and he was great, and he was great live, and he's a brilliant frontman. But we had this ludicrous situation with Brexit. I'm sure everybody in Europe was aware of it. Like it's ridiculous. Like I'm still annoyed that we did it now, but it was a stupid idea. And because let's face it, together we're all stronger. Like Europe all together, and for us to sort of do that, I can't apologize enough. It was the most stupid decision, but it was catastrophic for musicians, because it's made everything. It's affected the flights. There's no cheap flights anymore. It's damaged. When you send out albums and stuff, it costs a fortune for the fans to go and buy it. It was a stupid idea. And it just made it impossible for us. It wasn't sustainable anymore financially to keep, pardon me, to keep George in the band anymore, because it just costs so much on flights alone. And, from America, and all the band comes out from England, it was just too expensive. So we needed a fantastic, it was quite difficult, really, because, it's not because he wasn't good enough. He's a fantastic singer and he did great performances. But at the end of the day, we had to get another singer. But going way back to the first time I ever heard kind of George sing, we did a brilliant festival, Keep It True. I love that festival, and doing the show for Ollie and stuff. And I met George at that gig, but there was kind of a sort of like a superstar band for the last day, and it was put together with all the singers, and like the singer we had at the time, Russ North, he was like singing on stage, and also a fantastic American singer. But what was weird, this couple of weird coincidences. When we were at our hotel, this American guy needed a lift down to Keep It True. So we went, well, we'll give you a lift, like we got our RV, and we just took this guy down. And at the end, when they had this superstar band, there was this guy, like who we gave a lift to. And he was absolutely amazing. He completely ruled the show, like his stage presence, and everybody had to. There was like had to sing "Running Free" by like the Iron Maiden song, and all the guest singers were singing this, and he just blew everybody away. He was incredible, and that was Harry. So we even gave, before I even knew him, like him a lift down, and I was really impressed. So I'm thinking, oh, got to watch out for this guy. And then obviously, we found out about Jag Panzer and everything, like, and what a singer, he's fantastic. We couldn't have an American singer, it cost too much. So we needed somebody sort of based in sort of England or Europe, really, one that's going to be like affordable with the flights. And as luck would have it, Harry's wonderful wife, Christine, she was a massive fan of Cloven Hoof, like she always has been. And I found out somebody said, and Christine's getting married to Harry out of Jag Panzer. No way, so right away I went and dropped her an email. I went, is there any chance you can ask Harry, to if he'd be interested in joining the band? And Christine said, yeah, he'll join the band. And I went, no, you got to go and ask him, And then 5 minutes later, Harry went, yeah, I'd like to give it a go and stuff. I said, well, before you rush into it, we're doing Keep It True again. Just kind of turn up and see if you like it and everything. So when we did Keep It True, sure enough, Harry was there, waiting for us kind of at the dressing room. And I said, yeah, just go and see what you think. And he was really impressed. He loved it, and he said, I really want to give this a go. So that was it, really. We kind of made the album, and we were sending him files, and he was sending the vocals back. And it was kind of magic, like some. I mean, if I didn't know Christine, then I couldn't have got in contact with him. But it's just written in the stars, isn't it? Sometimes you meant to get together, I guess.
Absolutely. Now, I absolutely love the vocal lines and vocal melodies. How much of an input did Harry have into that?
Well, basically, he sort of he copied the melody lines pretty faithfully, but the difference is Harry it's the difference between a brilliant vocalist and a good vocalist. Harry's brilliant because Harry lives a song. He puts the emotion. You believe it's happening to him. It's almost like being an actor. And so Harry was completely like selling it, So okay, you've got the melody lines, but the delivery is completely Harry, and he kind of took it to a new level, and there's going to be a few sections there, which he, improvised now and again. But it's fantastic because he did he kept true to the original melody lines and just injected his magic into it.
Well, I was extremely impressed because I mean, I loved him as a singer for Jag Panzer, and he's always been an amazing vocalist. But um, in this case, it isn't just the vocals that he gave to this record, but how he applied himself. That
Oh
took it to the
God, yeah,
next level. Like I've never heard him sing like that before, and
yeah.
I've
Oh no, it's
he put
what
Steve
it
back in
was.
Tyrant.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's like he really got off on it, I think. I think because he, and sort of and Christine was like saying how much he loves the songs, like and I think if you genuinely love something, then you give your best performance on it. But Harry absolutely raised he just raised the bar to a whole new level for me. I expected them to be good. But Harry just knocked it out the ballpark, like, and Harry's so good that usually when as I said, I write for singers, and sometimes you go like, oh, we're a bit limited with this, like I know what some people can do really well and what they can't do quite so well. Harry's got no limit. He sings everything fantastic. He can sing high, he can sing low, he can sing aggressive, he can make you cry, like how he does like the sort of soft passages and stuff. He's the real deal. And he's just so talented. He's the only singer that doesn't need any direction. What he gives you, he nails it, and like the changes are just like hardly anything, like he just sends it through and you go like, well, can you do any better? And he just goes, I think I can do that bit better. Oh, go on then, I don't think he could sing anything bad, to be honest. But more than that as well, he's the most lovely guy. He's the most, um, people like Harry don't exist in real life, like he's such a team player and everybody gets on so well, like, and there's no kind of egos. And I think Harry just enjoys being like with Cloven Hoof because we kind of like a family. We've known each other for years, and everybody gets along so well. So when we do a gig, it's a real sort of pleasurable experience kind of thing. So yeah, so we all enjoy being together as well. So that's half the battle, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, initially it was announced that he would only be filling in, but it appears that he is part of the family.
Oh yeah, it's definitely part of the family. Yeah, I mean, there won't be any more Cloven Hoof, albums without Harry on. Harry's going to be on all of them. Like
Yeah.
so.
So
It was just like I suppose like when you get singers, like you never know how it's going to work out. Like and you know, but with Harry, we just got super lucky, really. Like he's not only super talented, but he's also super nice guy as well. I feel very very lucky to have him in the band.
um, tell me a few things about those songs. Like, what's Redeemer about?
Yeah, with Redeemer. I had that song kind of lined up for quite quite a time really. Um, like the idea for the song, and it's basically an avenging angel really.
Mhm.
Sort of with the whole kind of story really. Like it isn't on there, but I imagine like this kind of character, this witchfinder kind of character.
Mhm.
I invented this kind of story where he was like in the sort of English kind of Civil War kind of thing, and he sort of he killed his girlfriend's sort of father in the English Civil War. Like you had the Roundheads and the Cavaliers, and he was kind of a captain in the Roundheads, and but his girlfriend's father was like a sort of cavalier, and he ended up actually like killing the father, like in a battle kind of thing. So he's sort of repentant for that, and in the end, he sort of found kind of religion, and he became like a religious fanatic and became like a witchfinder kind of character, a little bit kind of Solomon Kane in there. So and then I had this story that he was going across the country like being a witchfinder, and in the end he ended up at this place like with the witches on where it sort of had these sort of witchcraft ceremonies on this whole sort of hillside kind of thing, and they had a sort of this pagan sort of cross there, but that was the source of the witch's power. So in the end, he kind of drove his sword into that,
Mhm.
and he broke the witch's spell, and the witches became these sort of standing stone kind of things because he broke the spell. But his spirit, he then became like a sort of an avenging spirit kind of thing. So with that kind of storyline, it was great because like the witches kind of wanted to bring about sort of the end of the world, kind of like Ragnarok, which is in the song Frost and Fire,
Mhm.
and the and basically the avenging angel sort of redeemer would have been unleashed as well. So basically like Curse of the Gypsy and Frost and Fire and Sabbath Stones and the Summoning,
Mhm.
uh, they're all part of this one kind of story to do with that sort of character. So really, one side is almost a concept. It's almost like a concept album because all those songs kind of fit together.
No, no.
But there's just like sort of vendetta and do what thou wilt. That's about really Alistair Crowley, really. And I wrote that because I was Alistair Crowley was actually born in Leamington, which is just up the road, kind of thing. And I went to his went to his house, like where Alistair Crowley, where he was born. And I don't know, it's just got a weird atmosphere anyway, it's incredible. But the Alistair Crowley thing was kind of interesting. I think I was sort of into it really because of like Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page,
Mhm.
bought his house, Baleskin House, looking on Loch Ness up in Scotland.
I read about that.
And I sort of reading about that. Then it got me interested in Alistair Crowley, and I was kind of having a look at his. I've got a couple of his books. I can't understand any of it.
Oh, there's another song which, when I heard this, I'm thinking that's got to be almost autobiographical. And the song I'm referring to is Last Man Standing, because you are the last man standing with
Yeah, yeah, it
original
is.
Cloven Hoof.
Yeah, like really, I think it probably is autobiographical. I was just like, it's almost like it can be about like a prize fighter, but in this business, you are almost like a prize fighter, aren't you? You kind of step into the arena, kind of thing. So, Last Man Standing is almost like, I nearly wrote that for me, almost, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's a good one because, like, it stands out. It's quite a good kind of single, really. And Harry really loved that. He went, if we got a single on the album, it's got to be that one, like. And his delivery is fantastic, isn't it? It's really kind of aggressive. We really managed to get the aggression on that one. And yeah, I really like that song as well. But yeah, it is in a way because I've been last man standing so many times.
All right. Uh, um, touring situations. Have you had a chance to take this on the road to play it for the people yet?
Yeah, we've done a few gigs with Harry now, like and we've done sort of Barcelona and Greece and Germany and stuff. And we've got another. Let's have a look. When is it? We got one next year. It's near kind of Hanover, and that's on the 3rd of March. That'll be good. Festival. It's called Steel Held High Festival 2025, and we'll be headlining that show. Um, uh, uh, it's such a pleasure playing it with Harry, though, like because he's such a good, he's such a good performer as well. He's fantastic on stage, such command over an audience, like, and we've absolutely ripped the place apart every time we played. So, look, I always look forward to our shows, like. That's kind of the fun bit being in a band, isn't it? Like you make all these albums, but the reward is getting out there and playing to the fans because it's the most fun ever.
Any chance for American shows? Me being in Chicago?
Well, we've done it. We've done two headline tours of America, and there's a really good chance for that. I've had our agent this year going on. So when you come, when you're coming back, and I needed it's not next year, but we'll be going to America the year after.
Mhm.
It takes him like sort of 6 to 8 months just to book it. So I've agreed that like but not next year, the year after we're ready to do it because it won't get in the way of anything. Because this is crazy. We've got Heathen Cross. I'm working on the next album,
Mhm.
And the album after that, we've got to kind of fit into next year as well, you know. So it's like bang, 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 you know, like we've got sort of this wealth of like material to get recorded. And then we can enjoy playing the shows, you know, afterwards. But we got to lay down these albums, you know, like while we can.
So, what kind of a feedback is this album getting from
Yeah, we got the
fans?
most we got amazing reviews. I think probably the best reviews ever. Um, we're kind of averaging sort of you know the lowest sort of 8 out of 10, 8, 9. We've got a few 10 out of 10s as well, which is really good. But like consistently, it's probably got the best reviews than any of the albums really.
Mhm.
They've all been high scores. So yeah, we're really pleased, you know. And you can always tell because the record company gets in touch with you right away, you know, like really early, you know, we need the next one. I think, well, we've only just done this one. So it's a way of telling that an album's done pretty well, you know. So
So, I did a little bit of like research and math, and it turns out it's been 42 years between your first release of
oh
the
my
actual
goodness.
EP,
Is
right?
it that long?
Right? And
Oh my
Heathen
God.
Cross. So, how relevant are your ideals from 1982 to what you're doing now?
Well, I think that we've kept the essence of our sound together. Um, because you know, I hate kind of safe albums. I hate when every album sounds exactly the same, and it feels like you're not growing. But I think each one of our albums has had its own kind of unique identity. I think we've pushed the boundaries with all of them. It's like with the first album, it's kind of sort of occult driven, and obviously with the opening Ritual EP, and it had that sort of darkness. And then we kind of moved away into this sci-fi, like with Dominator. And Sultan's Ransom was very eclectic. With our album, I just wanted to see how far we could expand our sound. It went everything from sort of a Arabian sort of harmonic minor kind of Arabian sounding stuff to speed metal, which Death Valley Racer was verged on that and stuff, and then obviously the epic sort of Mistress of the Forest. So it was very eclectic, and that kind of defined how far we could go. That was our bandwidth. So and obviously it's more sort of power metal with sort of the Time Assassin album.
Mhm.
But what we wanted to do with Heathen Cross, we wanted to go back and get back to our roots with that sort of with sort of the occult kind of darkness, really, with that. So really, it was that it's a good analogy, really, because like you got sort of opening ritual and Heathen Cross, and Heathen Cross, I think fits very well, like with that sort of dark kind of occult kind of feel. So the new album, we want to make it, you know, we want to make it even more sort of darker, really. And it's not like sort of playing kind of thrash darkness, but like that sort of magical sort of sound that sort of Purple and Uriah Heep got. You know, it was just like sort of epic, isn't it? You know, with that sort of epic feel. So it's great because like Heathen Cross has got a big sort of a nod towards our first album and the opening ritual. So it just shows we didn't abandon our sound, you know, like it's still us, you know, it's still got that sort of epic feel, and they're sort of like imaginative kind of storylines. So I don't think we abandoned our ideals at all. I think you know, those two there, they kind of prove it, don't they? And it's apart from us getting slightly more sophisticated with our production, which Heathen Cross has got. And we've just got this fantastic world-class vocalist now. It's really good because you can put them side by side and you can go, that band's definitely improved. You know, I think I think we get better with that with age. Where it's quite difficult really because a lot of bands just make like good albums at the start of their career, and then you sort of go, well, I wish they'd sounded more like this. So I didn't want us to be one of those sort of bands, you know, like, uh, and I think really because we didn't have a safety net, all our albums had to be good, really, because if the album wasn't good, that'd be the end of it. It's not like the bands with the big record labels and stuff because they can sort of churn these albums out. It doesn't matter if it's good or not, but all our albums had to be good really for us to sort of continue with our career. And that's why we're always trying to keep the standard there, And after all these years, I kind of the best thing ever has been like meeting the fans at the gigs because a lot of bands they won't go out and meet the fans and stuff. They lock themselves away in the dressing room. Hey, we're big stars. But I've always thought, well, our fans show the loyalty and the love for the band. They they buy the albums, they turn up at the gigs. The least you could do is spend some time with them and pose for photographs and talk about the band. But it's been really useful because they tell you exactly what they love about the band. And it's like market research. Then you don't lose yourself. You always stay true to your roots and them because you're talking to them and they tell you exactly what they love about the band. And that's why I'm able to still sort of compose as I do because I listen to what they're saying and I know what they like. So hopefully, we can, keep making, really good albums because, I listen to the fans and I try and give them what they want, and not stray too far away from our roots, really, I guess.
Absolutely admirable. Now, throughout this conversation, you've been dropping hints about the new album. Anything else you want to say about that?
God, yeah, record labels get really touchy about it, but I'll tell you the title. Now, like nobody knows this one, so you got the exclusive. It's going to be called Never a Prophet in Your Own Land. It's going to be called. And I suppose really from when you see the cover and stuff, Never a Prophet in Your Own Land, it's got a couple of meanings, the first one, it's you'd think probably Jesus, wouldn't you? Like you never like accepted in your own land and stuff. And it's not true like for England, we haven't been sort of like abandoned by our fans in England. They're there. But I'm just like saying the music business in England they will support absolutely everything except British talent. And we were lucky when we started because it was the first time in musical history, really, that the English press actually wanted to support English bands. So when the new wave of British heavy metal started, it was kind of a phenomenon that the English press sort of got behind English bands. They never did again. And it's so tough for bands starting out in England because the mainstream media won't get behind them. So it's kind of a sort of a dig at them, I suppose.
I
Like,
I
and these
totally get
bands
what
are
you
never a
get.
prophet in their own land. You've got to like the whole world can appreciate you. We can play in America and we can play in Germany and we can play in Greece and Italy and everywhere, and they all love the band. But back in England, they won't support new wave of British heavy metal bands, and and it's terrible. I mean in America, like where we're from, like the West Midlands, I mean, a lot of Americans, you know, they sort of think that's basically the place where heavy metal kind of started because of like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Judas Priest and everything because it's had that sort of English, West Midlands kind of talent really. And but at the end of the day, like the venues and stuff really aren't supported enough, and it's tragic really because all the way around the world they really really appreciate the West Midlands and Birmingham, except the press in Birmingham. They don't actually know what they've got. So
Sure.
so never a prophet in your own land. I think it's quite a good sort of evocative kind of title, really.
Makes sense. Years ago, I was speaking with Mick Box from Uriah Heep,
Oh, wonderful! Yeah, yeah.
he had similar problem. Like only a year ago, British press was calling Uriah Heep professional geezers, whereas when the new album came out, they actually gave it good reviews. I'm like Mick, even the British press is behind this. And he goes,
Yeah,
and he started laughing. He goes like, I hope that bubble is not gonna burst anytime soon.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. Oh, I love you, Ryan. Absolutely
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Speaking of like bands, what are some of your favorite releases of the last year?
Last year, I love the Saxon album.
Oh, it's a
You
great
know,
one.
the sax and like well, it's quite a few really, but the Saxon one really sort of hit home because like they're still delivering,
Mhm.
like all this time, and I was lucky enough to sort of like do some gigs like with Saxon, and I found them so down to earth, lovely people, like, and they're sort of there's no sort of ego with them. They're just lovely down to earth people, and it's just great to see Biff doing, Biff still delivering, fantastic albums in it, really. So they've kept the quality going. I was a bit disappointed with the Maiden one, like, but then again, it's like it's all right for people to sort of, be critical of like some bands on that sort of level. But the fact is, it must be hard because when you get to that level you're kind of surrounded by sort of that it's almost like sycophant. They don't have to try anymore
Mhm.
and they don't have to be hungry. And so, when you're used to that comfort zone, it must be hard to dig deep and sort of like deliver. So I understand that probably, that it brings its own sort of difficulties. Um, and we always have to deliver anyway. We have to be hungry. We have to just keep delivering because we wouldn't get to make any more albums at all. So I suppose when you're there, it's like, keeping the fire going. It must be really difficult, like when you have got that safety net, when you get that sort of global acceptance that they've got. So, there's a lot of bands like that, isn't it? They're not delivering as, the albums of the quality that they used to do. But yeah, it must be because of that comfort zone, really,
Sense.
because I think if you really believe in your material and your albums, I think it just comes out the record now. And I think it kind of came out on Heathen Cross because we all got off on it such a lot. And it was good because it was a return to the old days. Like we were all like together, we all like rehearsing it.
Mhm.
So we got, we it sort of it was well lived in, like and we were just felt so comfortable before we went in to record. And it's like for years and years we haven't been doing that. Like we've just like we've literally sort of done it kind of in the studio, but like the new album and stuff, so we can get that capture a performance and not just laying down an album. Um, it's going to be lived in first, and then we it can sort of capture our sort of live energy. And that's I think that's that sort of vitality has basically appeared on the grooves. You can feel like we believe in what we're doing, and and we're playing with conviction and energy. But and all these bands with Pro Tools, it's just too. It's kind of sterile, isn't it? All these bands all sound the same. They've got the same Pro Tools, they've got the same effects. And we just said, forget that. We want to go back and capture the old magic. So that's what we did on Heathen Cross, and we're certainly going to do that on the new album as well. Like so. I'm looking forward for you to hear it. Really.
Yeah, fantastic. Finally, your lifelong dedication to Cloven Hoof and heavy metal in general is admirable.
Oh, thank you.
Personally, what do you get out of it?
Um, I've had the same. I've talked to quite a few musicians as well. Like you get about, and they go like, "Okay, so what's it all about?" And I went, "Well, it's just because, you're playing that music for its own sake, and at the end of the day, you you know you've got these great songs. The world needs to hear it, like, and I play for the fans now more than anything. You're not doing it for the ego or for the money or anything else. It's just for when you can be live and you can go to another country that you've never been before, and you look at that audience and they're singing back those songs. It's just the most magical feeling ever. It's like, and you remember like when you first sort of demoed them up, like, and to see an audience singing them back at you, you just can't beat that, like, and I feel very privileged, be doing this, and especially after all these years. How long was it again? 40 what?
42.
Oh my God. It seems like about 5 minutes, like when we started off and we couldn't get a singer. Uh and we went to the local radio station, and we were just gonna sort of go like can you make an announcement? We're a heavy metal band, but we can't get a decent singer kind of thing. And at the local radio station, and Rob Alford was there. He was doing an interview, and we were like sitting there till really late, till the DJ came out, and Rob just looked at us. We were about like little 18-year-olds, and he goes, "You've just got to be a band." He said, "Have you got a demo tape?" I went, "Yeah, it's got no singing on," and I went, "You'll do." Like. And he said, just for the cheek of that, I'm going to listen to this now. And he went back into the radio station, and they sort of opened up and everything, went in the studio. And he went, "Well, this isn't you. You're little kids. This is like 30-year-olds. These are, how can you can't play like that?" And yeah, it is us. And he was like really impressed. He was like going like, "You're just 18. You can't possibly play as good as that." He said, "Tell you what, then when you do get a singer, I'll be, I want to be the first one to hear it, kind of thing." And he took my number, and I thought, he's just being nice and stuff, like. But the following, it was about like 6 months later or something. And my mom went, "There's somebody called Rob Alford for you on the phone." I went, "Oh, you're joking?" And I thought, somebody was like winding me up, like, and it was him. And he was like saying, "Okay, I'm at the radio station. I'm pushing the new album." He said, "Have you got that singer?" And I went, "Yeah, we have got the singer, actually." He says, "Yeah, come on down." So we went down to the radio station, and it was like our first, like, the demo with the first album. And he went, "This is great," like he said, I'll play this to a few people in America." So it's amazing. They were doing Screaming for Vengeance album, he's pushing. And he basically when they played in Birmingham, and I sort of turned up. I sort of turned up at Birmingham Odeon, and I left my address with the radio station and stuff. Can you get in touch with Rob? Like. And they said, "Okay." And Rob said, "Yeah, just turn up Birmingham Odeon. I'll get you guest passes and everything." So we turned up. I went with my mate who's like sort of Judas Priest, like it's his favourite band, like he worships Judas Priest. Didn't say anything about it. And he says, "So where's our tickets to get in?" I went, "We haven't got any." And he said, "What the hell have we come for it for?" And we just went to the stage door, and he went, "What are we doing at the stage door? Like we'll just get kicked out or something." And then the coolest thing of all time, this was, I wish I'd have videoed this. And it saw this darkened alley, and we're just standing by the stage door and everything. And you could all hear these buckles and these chains like clanking. And Rob Alford turned up, and he went, "Do I detect the pitter patter of cloven hooves?" Oh my God. And he said, "You coming in?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "I'll just get some good guest pass, and I'll meet you like upstairs, like after the show." So it was, yeah. And what a killer line. But my mate, he was speechless. He just like in shock. And we went and watched the gig, and he's still like, like, is this happening kind of thing? And then after the show, then we went upstairs to the guest area and stuff, and like priests had their families in there and stuff. And like Rob went, this demo type. I'm going to take it into Tommy Vance for you. See if we can get you on Friday Rock Show. And he did do so. And Robert Plant kind of lived not far from me, and my mate knew where he lived. And he said, "Why don't you take your demo tape to him and all?" So he said it's the only one with an American mailbox outside. Like he told me the area and stuff. So I found this American mailbox, and I had a Wolves shirt on, and Robert Plant supports Wolves as well, the same as me. And I was just putting this demo tape in the mailbox, and this voice said, "Like the shirt," and Robert Plant, and he turned up. He went, "Is that a demo tape? Are you a band?" Because yeah, and he goes, "I'll give this a listen. If I like it," he said, "I'm doing Tommy Vance. I'll drop it in." So what happened? Uh, Tony Wilson from the Friday Rock Show, Tommy Vance Show. He just went, "We're going to give you a session for Tommy Vance Show." He says, "How many people, how many superstar singers do you know?" He said, "I had Rob Halford give me this demo tape, and Robert Plant has as well. So we've got to give you a session on the show." And that's how it all kind of started, really. We had,
It
those
was
two
meant to
people
be.
just so cool that they did that for a local band, and God
You
bless them.
can argue with such endorsement. I actually have a funny Rob Halford story for you as well. So years ago, I interviewed Rob, and then the crazy idea kind of appeared to me. I had Rob record an answering message for me for my phone. So, so
Did he do it as
yeah,
well?
yeah, he did it with
Awesome.
the Rob Halford voice. I would have people call me. He goes, "Don't answer the phone. We just want to hear Rob Halford."
Yeah, just unbelievable, isn't it? Do you know what? One thing as well, which blew me away, because when I gave him that our first demo, there was a track "Road of Eagles" on there, and it ended up on it could have been on the first album, but it ended up on Dominator album. And Rob went, "I really love that line, our Kingsman's bodies litter the foreign fields of death." And I'm thinking, Rob Alford's voice, like doing that. I'd have sold my soul for him to actually do it on the record, I think. But he did it like perfect, and I wish I'd have recorded that. That sounded so cool.
Wow, fantastic stories. Lee, thank you so much for taking time to speak to me and
An
promote the
absolute
band.
pleasure, an absolute honor, my friend.
I
Anytime.
can't wait to hear that new album.
You'll be the first one to, if on here, if you send me your address and everything, when I get a copy of that album, I'll send you my copy personally to you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You take care, my brother.